Good morning, Mariners, and happy Thursday. Hope you guys are having a great morning. This is our reading lesson for today, and we're going to continue with our nonfiction study, and we're going to be reading a new book today as well. Before we get started, I wanted to kind of review what we talked about yesterday because it was a lot of information. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And earlier in our live Zoom, we created an anchor chart together. It's a digital anchor chart about the nonfiction text features that we studied yesterday. So here's a nice list of them. The first one that we came up with is a map. You might see a map in your nonfiction stories. The next thing is you might see a photo or a drawing during your nonfiction stories. Next up, you might find a glossary. Now, a glossary is going to be found in the back of the book, and a glossary is kind of like a miniature dictionary, and it shows you all of the important words that you might see in a story. Next up, you might find italics, which are the slanted words, bold words, which are the dark words, and then colorful words, which are words that are in color. Those typically show you an important word that you need to remember. After that, you might find a table of contents, and that's going to be in the front of your story. And the front of the story, that table of contents, is going to tell you where chapters or subtitles are in the story. Next up, we're going to find an index, possibly. An index is going to be in the back of the book, and it's kind of like a little cheat sheet that tells you where things are in the book. You might also find subtitles in the book, so they're smaller titles that go along to support that larger title or larger topic of the book. And then last but not least, you might find diagrams in the story. Yesterday, we had a ton of diagrams in our nonfiction book, and diagrams are just pictures or illustrations that show or explain something, or how something is done, how something works. So those are some text features that we mentioned yesterday. Today in our story, we're going to be keeping an eye out for some of these text features to see if we can notice any as we read. Before we start reading today, we do want to talk about how to read a nonfiction book. Nonfiction books are stuffed with information. We have tons of stuff inside of a nonfiction book that you have to remember, and it's a lot. So, in order to read a nonfiction book properly, we use different strategies. The first strategy I want to teach you today is using a KWL chart. You guys have done those with me in the past, and you're pretty good at them. So we're going to continue using those to help us better understand our nonfiction stories. So today, during our live Zoom, the students and I created our first KWL chart. Remember, you are going to be writing what you know already before you read, and then what you want to know about the topic before you read. And then you read the story, and after you read the story, you'll type in what you learned about that topic. So today we're reading a book called Are You a Grasshopper? And so the students and I got together and we decided, what do we collectively know about grasshoppers? And they came up with this list. Grasshoppers can hop. Only male grasshoppers chirp. Grasshoppers' back legs are very strong. Grasshoppers can jump super high, higher than crickets. They are green and they blend in with their surroundings. That's called camouflage. They can be as big as a large moth, and they look like they can fly when they jump. Those are things that our class already knew about grasshoppers. Next up, we talked together and we said, what do we want to know about grasshoppers? What are things we'd like to learn as we read this story? And we typed all of those in our chart so that as we read, we can kind of be thinking about those things and noticing, did we learn about them as we read? So what we wanted to know was, why do only the males chirp? How high can they jump? How can you tell if a grasshopper is male or female? What do they like to eat? Where do they sleep? How are their back legs so strong? What do grasshopper eggs look like and how are they born? And how long are their legs? And why do they chirp? So those are some great things that we would love to know, and we're going to be paying attention to as we read our story today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flip back so that you can just see me. And we're going to be reading this story together called Are You a Grasshopper? This is by Judy Allen and Tudor Humphreys. I want you to think to yourself, do you think that this is a biography, a reference nonfiction, or a literary nonfiction? As we read, let's see if you're right. Are you a grasshopper? If you are, your mother looks like this. Your father looks much the same. Your mother laid her eggs at the end of the summer. She laid them deep in the grass, just under the ground, and covered them in frothy stuff. The froth hardened into a pod to keep the eggs safe. So this is one of our questions that we already answered. It's what do the eggs look like and where are they born? You and your brothers and sisters slept in your eggs all winter, but now it's spring. Time to hatch. Push all together and get out of the pod. You look a little like a tiny worm, but that's only because you're wrapped in a worm-shaped covering. So unwrap yourself. You're still tiny and you don't have any wings, but now you look like a grasshopper. So here's them coming out of the eggs and hatching, and this is when they look like tiny grasshoppers. You're hungry, so eat. Eat grass or maybe some leaves. Clover's nice. Eat and grow. Unfortunately, your skin is hard, so it doesn't grow with you. You'll have to take it off. Luckily, there's a new one underneath. Eat and grow and change your skin again. Now you have wing buds on your back. Change your skin again. Now you have small, stubby wings. Eat and grow and change your skin at least 4 times. The final skin change is the slowest and the biggest. Struggle out of your old skin and hang from a grass stem while your wings grow to full size. At last, you are a fully grown grasshopper. You're bigger and stronger than before. You have 6 legs, 2 pairs of wings, 2 large eyes, and 2 short feelers. You have tiny ear holes on the sides of your body, above your back pair of legs. On your feet, you have suction pads so you can cling to stems. Beside your mouth, you have palpi, like tiny fingers to help push in your food. This is a bush cricket. You can tell it's a cricket and not a grasshopper because it has long feelers. Don't stand around looking at it. It may be eating a leaf right now, but bush crickets eat grasshoppers too. Don't get caught in a spider web. Spiders eat grasshoppers. Don't get too close to a frog or a toad. Frogs and toads eat grasshoppers. Watch out for birds. Some birds eat grasshoppers too. It's a dangerous world out there in the grass. Always be ready to escape from danger. You could fly, except you're not very good at flying. You could hide. You're very difficult to see if you creep down among the green stems. Or you could hop. After all, you are a grasshopper. Your strong back legs are bent up. Straighten them suddenly, and you'll be catapulted through the air. You can jump amazingly high and travel an amazingly long way. You're very light, and your skin is like a suit of armor. You won't hurt yourself when you land. You have a row of tiny pegs on the inside of each leg. Pedal your legs up and down fast. The pegs rub against your wings and make a tickling, chirping noise. Keep going for about 20 seconds. Have a break, then start again. If you are a male grasshopper, chirp loudly to attract a mate. If you are a female grasshopper, you can chirp back if you want to. The important thing is to mate and lay eggs for the next year. However, if your mother and father look like this, or this, or this, you're not a grasshopper. You are a human child. You don't have wings, you don't have feelers, you don't have ears in the sides of your body. You probably can't jump amazingly high. Don't worry, you can do many things a grasshopper can't do. Best of all, you can make music without pedaling your legs up and down. And on the last page, we have some facts and information about grasshoppers. So this story did not have a lot of nonfiction text features. It did have that fact page in the back, and then we had a lot of really great illustrations in the story. Otherwise, I didn't see many other text features in here. We saw a couple words that looked unique. They weren't bold or italics, but they were shapely words. But otherwise, no other text features. This one I would consider a literary nonfiction because it tells the story of a grasshopper going through his life. It doesn't have quite as many facts and hard information, but it does have that story of the grasshopper, and it talks about the connection to humans. So I'd consider this a literary nonfiction story. This was a really great book. So now I want to go back to our KWL chart, and we're going to complete the chart together. Now, this morning, the students and I finished our chart, so I want to just show you what we did, and then if you have anything else to add, you're welcome to say it right now and add it on your own. So this morning when we talked, we decided that these are some things that we learned as we read the story. Students said that males and females can chirp, but the males chirp more. Grasshoppers have their own musical instrument that works by rubbing their legs together. Grasshoppers have many predators, that means animals that eat them. Frogs, tree frogs, crickets, toads, spiders, and birds. Grasshoppers can jump really high. They shed their skin 4 times and grow their own wings, and they can fly, but not very well. There's a lot more information in the story, but this is what the students gathered this morning, so if you have something else you'd like to add, you're welcome to do that. The reason that we do KWL charts is because right now, looking on our screen, we have so much information about the topic of grasshoppers. And I love that we were able to come up with that information and organize it in a nice, neat way that helps us better understand the topic. Today, when you do your seesaw assignment, you are going to be choosing a nonfiction book, any nonfiction book that you would like, and you're going to be creating your own KWL chart. So you're going to be writing, what do I already know about this topic? And what do I want to know about this topic? Then you're going to read your story, and at the very end, what did you learn about this topic? So good luck completing your KWL chart today. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and thanks for tuning in. See you guys.